Well, after 18 weeks and 272 games, it has come down to the Week 18 win for the Detroit Lions over the Minnesota Vikings to claim the first seed in the NFC. And now both first seeds in both conferences are exactly 15-2, with the Chiefs getting blanked yesterday, having that first seed locked up, or I should say in Week 18, having that first seed locked up as they rested most, if not all, of their starters, which puts both first seeds at 15-2. I'm not sure that's ever happened before. Well, the 17-game season is only about 5 years old, so I think this is the first time, and there's never been a 14-win wildcard team. And fortunately for us, the Minnesota Vikings is that team heading into Wild Card weekend. Just real quick, we are going to be doing bye week and chill this weekend, Super Wild Card weekend, as we will be streaming all six Super Wild Card games, the 3 on Saturday, the 2 on Sunday, and the 1 on Monday night, as we sit back on the bye week and chill and wait for our opponent. It will be either seeds 4 through 7 will wind up coming to Detroit. It will be no less than that. Either seeds 4, 5, 6, or 7 will come to Detroit next week. But that's why we're here. We're going to look at the playoff seeding and what I think is going to happen for the 2025 NFL playoffs. Now, I've been telling you for a while that the Stafford narrative is not over. And that's what this is about. This is about the Stafford narrative. It is not done yet. The NFL has a boatload of money to make, and that money will come if the LA Rams will be the championship game coming to Ford Field. You literally could not write a better script. Take that as you will. But here's how I think things are going to go for the 2025 NFL playoffs. We're just going to focus on the NFC right now. Everybody's locked up. The Packers, with that loss to the Bears yesterday and a win by the Commanders, they dropped to the 7th seed, and they will wind up going to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Commanders are actually going to go and play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after their win yesterday and the Rams loss. The Vikings are going to head to LA and play the LA Rams. Now, I think that the LA Rams are going to win this game. I think that in a bit of cruel irony for the Minnesota Vikings, that the only 2 games, no, they lost 3 games of the regular season, 2 to the Detroit Lions, but they lost 2 back-to-back. They were 5-0. Then they lost to us, and then they lost to the LA Rams the very next week. It was a short week. They played us, then they played the Rams on Thursday Night Football. I think the same thing happens, and I think the LA Rams win that game. But here's how I think the Rams are going to end up in the NFC title game with the Detroit Lions. I think that there will be an upset between one of these teams will upset their teams. Now, I could see either team upsetting their opponents. The Green Bay Packers play the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly. The Commanders play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa. I could see either one of those things happening, right? The situation is with the Commanders is they lost Christian Watson. I think it's a possible ACL tear. That's a big weapon they're not going to have. I don't know if they're going to be able to beat the Eagles. Plus, they're coming off a 2-game skid where their offense just hasn't been able to show up, in my opinion, even though they set Jordan Love in Week 18. So I don't know if it'll be this team. But I think the Commanders might be able to pull off an upset against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have been struggling most of the year. So I'm going to pick my upset game to be either one of these. But if I had to choose based on just health, I'm going to take the Commanders to upset the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which means, the Rams are going to wind up beating the Minnesota Vikings. For them to meet in the NFC title game, that means that we need a upset from 6 or 7 and a Rams win. When I say we, I mean for this to take place is what I mean. I think that that's how it's going to go. So it's going to be an upset from seeds, which rarely happens, but it happened last year. The Packers were the 7th seed, and they upset the 2nd seed. Maybe it happens. Not sure it does without Christian Watson. But here, you got the outstanding rookie. You got McLaurin. You've got their running backs. You've got former Detroit Lions, Zach Ertz, balling out of control. I could see this being the upset. The Rams, who are underdogs at home, with the spread from being home, I think that they win this game and they upset. Now, here's what I think happened. I think Washington will then come to Detroit, and that means that the Rams will have to go to the Eagles. Now, I think that could work as well, that the Eagles will get upset by the Rams, and the Rams will come to Detroit in the NFC title game. Now, statistically, mathematically, usually, one of these, the division winners wind up in the championship game. Last year, it was the NFC West and the NFC North division winners. It was the AFC West and the AFC North. Those were the two guys. So look, this stuff, ironically, so I think that's how it's going to happen. I think seeds 1 through 4 are going to be represented in the NFC title game. That's what I think. So I think it's going to be right now. I think the NFL wants to see seeds 1 and seeds, because you're not going to get bigger ratings. You're not going to get bigger money than that. So the NFC title game for the Detroit Lions. So expect an upset this weekend from, actually, I think all of these teams, all of the teams start. I don't even know what the Bucs line is, but I wouldn't be surprised if every team is probably like all the home teams. Well, you got an upset here. This would be their favorites. I don't know about these two. So that's what I think is going to happen for the wild card round. The Detroit Lions are going to sit back, and that's why I said we're going to be doing the bye week and chill, where we do all six games, which is something we've never done on this channel, but we're going to try it out this year. With the Lions being the first seed, we just get to sit back and see who the Lions play, because as I said earlier, it's going to be seeds 1 through 7. I'm sorry. I keep doing that. 4 through 7 is who they're going to play. If the LA Rams win and all of the other road teams lose, which means that the Vikings would be a road team, they will lose, the Washington Commanders, then they're going to see that in the divisional round. I don't think the NFL wants to see that. I think that they want, because then it'll be okay. If the divisional round happens, then I could see where I said in a different video that this would be the end of the Stafford narrative. I still believe that, but I think depending on what we see in the NFC in the divisional round, like if the Lions play the Rams in the divisional round, okay, now we saw him in the wild card, then we saw him in the divisional. So you would only think that before Stafford is done with the Rams, we see him in the NFC title game. But I have a feeling it's going to be this year. But we'll see what happens. Again, this is not a rigged thing. I don't think the NFL is rigged. But if we can see, we saw it last night, man. There's some calls that you be like, bruh, like what are we doing here? So I could see, and then the Rams beat the Minnesota Vikings. So to think that they were on the road. No, they were at home. They were at home. The Minnesota Vikings lost so it's like a direct repeat of what happened. Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings, gave them their first loss. Then they play the Rams, give them their second loss. Then they go on a streak, the Minnesota Vikings, that is, and then lose to the Detroit Lions. So their 3 losses are Lions, Rams, or Lions, Rams, Lions. And they will lose again. That's what I think. If by some chance the Minnesota Vikings win and seeds 6 and 7 lose, then we see a rematch of the Week 18 in the divisional round. And to be honest with you, man, I don't want to see that. I want to play somebody new. I don't want to see the Minnesota Vikings, not because of fear or anything like that. We showed what we could do last night. It's not a fear thing. I'm bored. I don't want to see the Vikings again. I want to see somebody new to bring just a new life, new perspective. I don't want to play Tampa Bay. I want to play somebody new. I mean, if we do play Tampa Bay, I think we can beat them. I think, as a matter of fact, I know we can beat them. We should have beat them in week 2. Lions truly, I mean, think about this. The Lions lost their 2 games by a total of 10 points. That's it. Their point differential is ridiculous. They are playing Super Bowl winning football right now. It's insane. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. How do you think it's going to go? It's not that I'm trying to push this. I say it and then it happens. It is, man. The NFL, why do you think, listen, just use this perspective. Game 272, they know that it's going to be flexed that it will be a game 272 every year, but it's never, ever on the NFL calendar. Why? I don't know. When we know it's going to happen, they never, ever do it, but they're doing it now. And it's always a game that means everything. So usually it's a win and get in situation, and there were a few of those yesterday. But the Denver Broncos, could you imagine that game being 272? That would have never happened. But for the first time in NFL history, the Detroit Lions could have the first seed, and that the loser of that game was going to be the first ever 14-win wildcard team. That was a no-brainer. Shout out to you guys for calling it a few weeks or a week earlier. But why do you think that happens? Why do you think that they wait to the very last minute? Because everything is about money and ratings, and that's what this is about. So I see that the NFL is trying to make this happen. We'll see. We'll watch the games. We'll be doing it live on this channel beginning Saturday. How does it feel to not have to do anything? Like, for the first time ever, we don't look at what we've done in the last 2 years. Not only do we win the NFC North for the first times in its existence, we have a playoff game at Ford Field. We win that. And now we go back to back. We get the first seed. For home field advantage has to go through, like, the road to the NFC Super Bowl has to go through Detroit. So that is insane to me. Insane. As far as the divisional round, I'm not sure I'll get there yet. I do have a few people looking out for me tickets. They're not free, by the way. I do have to pay for them, but I'm going to I'm going to focus the majority of my funds toward the championship game. I cannot miss, like I did last year, I cannot miss the Lions potentially punching their ticket to their first ever Super Bowl. So I'm going to kind of funnel my funds to that. The divisional round, of course, we got to get past that to make it to that game, but that's going to be my priority, is to go to the NFC title game when the Detroit Lions get past the divisional round, which we've discussed will, in my opinion, be the Washington Commanders. I think that's the biggest potential upset we could see this wild card weekend. If that happens, it is guaranteed that they come to Detroit. Unless the Packers win. If the Commanders win, it's guaranteed that the Commanders will come to Detroit in the divisional matchup. That's who I would like to see, just to throw some flavor out there. Anyway, this channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You can be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.